Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a really close look at a new development in KL Residensi 38 Bangsar.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really for those of you weighing up, that high-end city lifestyle versus the bottom line on investment returns.
Yeah, that's the absolute heart of it for this property. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking Bangsar, one of Kuala Lumpur's really established affluent areas.
Right.
So the building itself, it's positioned as a premium product, definitely targeting a specific kind of buyer, that high-end urban professional.
And our mission here is to get right into that core conflict. We need to unpack its biggest strength, that amazing transit access, and really stack it up against the, let's be honest, significant financial hurdles and the tenure issue.
Exactly. The whole pitch for Residensi 38 is basically super convenience. It's a perfect example of a transit-oriented development, a TOD.
Okay.
But, and it's a big but, that convenience comes with strings attached. It's leasehold, and you know the KL market loves freehold. Plus, the ownership costs are, well, they're pretty high.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the basics. What are the core facts here, the project specs?
Sure. So the official address is 38 Jalen Bangsar. It's what they call a brownfield infill project. Pretty compact site, just 1.16 acres.
Small site.
Yeah. And it's a single tower, 48 stories, with 278 residential units. Oh, and 3 commercial lots, too. Estimated completion is Q3 2025.
Got it. But, okay, let's get to those financial red flags, the title details, starting with the tenure. That's a big one.
It really is.
Yeah.
There's a sort of double whammy here impacting the long-term value. First, like we said, it's leasehold, and the lease expires December 3rd, 2085.
So doing the math, that's only about 60 years left.
Roughly, yeah. It's about 60 years remaining, and we know the market gets pretty nervous when leases drop below that 60-year mark. Property values can really start to stagnate.
Okay, so that's the leasehold headache. What's the other issue? The title itself.
Right. The second thing is the commercial land title, or CLT. This usually happens because they've got those commercial lots downstairs. But what it means for owners is basically higher annual costs compared to a residential title. Things like your utilities, your quit rent, assessment rates, they're all going to be higher.
And then there's the maintenance fee. RM 0.50 per square foot. That sounds quite high.
It is. Definitely at the upper end, even for luxury condos.
So what does that actually buy you? Is it like 5-star service, or is it just the cost of dealing with maybe a complex site?
Probably a bit of both, But what's really interesting, I think, is how that high maintenance, combined with a commercial title, it really forces an investor's hand.
How so?
Well, you have to focus almost entirely on getting immediate rental income, the yield. You can't really bank on capital appreciation down the line to make it worthwhile. The running costs are just too high to wait. You need that cash flow now.
Right, makes sense. So let's pivot to the main attraction then. The reason you'd even consider these costs. You said it's a true TOD. Why is this location so convenient?
Okay, yeah, this is its superpower. It's all about closeness and connections. The building is, maybe 350 meters from the Bangsar LRT station. That's a really easy walk, maybe 5 minutes.
And critically,
that station is just one stop from KL Sentral. The massive national transport hub gets you everywhere. Trains across the country, the airport express. For Bangsar, that level of access is pretty much unbeatable.
And what about cars? If you still need to drive?
Vehicular access is good too, actually. You're right near the federal highway, NPE, Sprint, Crunchy Link. Pretty much instant access to major routes.
But there's always a but, isn't there? The immediate area.
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword.
Yeah.
This isn't some quiet, leafy residential lane. It's right on the busy commercial side of Bangsar. You've got big office towers right next door, like Darren Maybank, Menara, UOA, Bangsar.
So how does that specific location influence the lifestyle? Because it sounds great for someone working nearby, that walk-to-work dream. Huge rental appeal there, especially for expats.
Absolutely, huge draw. But the trade-off is noise, traffic, lots of it. You're definitely not getting that quiet residential charm you find deeper inside Bangsar. It feels very much like commerce first, living second.
Still, the amenities are there, right?
Oh, for sure. You're still close to the good stuff. Bangsar Village, BSC, Mid-Valley Mega Malls just down the road, Pantai Hospital, HELP University. They're all nearby.
Okay, let's talk about who's building this, the developer.
It's UDA Holdings Borhad. Their big name, a government-linked company, GLC, established way back in '71.
This is a solid track record.
Very solid. They did the Gaia Bangsar condo nearby, which actually won awards. So, developer risk is pretty low here.
Right. Low developer risk, prime location, amazing connectivity. But you mentioned something earlier, slow sales.
Yes, and this is the really critical market signal. MRRC ratings documented this. The take-up rate was apparently really low, just 19% around mid-2024.
Wow, 19%.
Yeah, it improved a bit. Got it to 38% by the end of September 2024. But still,
Yeah.
that's slow for this kind of location.
So why? Why would a project like this, from a reputable developer in Bangsar, sell so slowly?
I think it has to be pushed back from the market. Buyers are looking at that combination. The high asking price, the leasehold factor, and those heavy maintenance fees. Savvy investors are running the numbers and likely concluding the initial pricing just doesn't stack up against those compromises, especially the leasehold one.
But slow sales aren't always bad news for someone looking to buy now, right? Could be an opportunity.
Exactly. That's the flip side. The developer's aiming to complete in Q3 2025. When you have this much unsold stock this close to handover,
Push your mouths.
big time, it creates a real window for negotiating leverage for potential buyers.
Yeah.
If you're walking in now, you're in a much stronger position to ask for discounts, rebates, better terms. They need to shift those units.
Okay, so the market's pushing back on price. Maybe the design itself plays a part.
Right.
Let's zoom in from the finances to the actual building layout.
Yeah, the architecture is interesting. It's a V-shaped design, good for maximizing views, and light, definitely. But according to the sources, a consequence is that some units end up with irregular room shapes. Think like trapezoids.
Ooh, trapezoidal rooms? Trying to furnish that. Tricky. Especially if you're paying top dollar for luxury.
It's a definite drawback for some layouts, but on the flip side, particularly for investors, they did include dual key units. The bigger ones, types F and E, up to about 1,440 ISQF feet.
And the smaller units.
Apparently the smallest ones, the 580 ISQFS studios, they sold out quite early. Shows there was demand at the more accessible entry price point.
Right, but the dual key, that's the investor's special weapon here, isn't it?
It really is. It's quite a financially savvy design. It lets an owner rent out two completely separate spaces, each with its own door to different tenants, all under one title.
And the idea is higher combined rent.
Often, yes. You can sometimes get more rent from two smaller units than one large one. And given those high maintenance fees we talked about, maximizing your rental yield per square foot is absolutely crucial. Dual key helps achieve that.
Okay, let's do the reality check. The pricing. You mentioned it's top tier. Initial launch prices were around RM 1100 to RM 300 PSF.
That's what was reported, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely premium territory.
So let's run the numbers. Say a typical 720 square foot unit. What does the yield look like?
Okay, well, based on expected market rents, your gross yield before costs probably works out to around 3.8%, which is okay. Not amazing, but decent.
Right, but here's where it gets really interesting. Now subtract that massive maintenance fee. For 720 SQFT at RM 0.50 PSF, that's what, RM 4,320 a year?
Exactly. So once you take that out, your net yield suddenly drops quite sharply, down to maybe 3.35%.
Ouch, that RM 0.50 PSF really bites into the return.
It absolutely erodes the yield significantly. And then you have to look at the competition.
Right, who else is in the area?
Well, you've got Nadi Bangsar, completed 2017, and The Establishment, which is Alila Bangsar from 2018, both strong competitors. And crucially,
guess, freehold.
Both freehold, yeah. And The Establishment is a particularly tough rival. It actually has a direct covered link bridge straight into the LRT station.
Oh, wow. Covered bridge.
And generally you see potentially higher gross yields reported there, sometimes hitting 5.0% to 5.5%.
So, okay, we told investors to focus on yield, but shouldn't the Bangsar name count for something in terms of capital growth, even with the leasehold? Or is that just wishful thinking here?
Well, the competition kind of forces your hand. You know, the market puts a huge premium on freehold. So for Residensi 38 to be leasehold when direct competitors like the Establishment offer freehold and that covered bridge, it's a tough sell for long-term appreciation potential.
So choosing Residensi 38 really boils down to either you strongly prefer a brand new building, maybe the specific layout.
Or, and this is key, you manage to negotiate a significantly lower purchase price to offset that leasehold disadvantage and the higher running costs. It becomes a purely strategic buy.
Right. Let's try and consolidate this then. A final verdict. The pros are pretty clear.
Yeah. Undeniable pros, that fantastic transit connection, 300 meters of the LRT, one stop to KL Sentral, the prestigious Bangsar address itself, relatively low density for the area, and those flexible dual key options.
And the cons. Equally clear and pretty heavy on the financial side.
Definitely. You've got the leasehold tenure running down to 2085, the premium price tag, that very high RM 0.50 PSF maintenance fee,
Yeah.
the commercial land title adding to costs, and as we saw, the slow sales rate, which reflects market sentiment.
So if you're looking to live there, say you're that busy professional, maybe an expat.
For that profile, it could be almost perfect. If your absolute top priority is saving time, living car-free, being incredibly connected, this is tailor-made.
But you have to swallow the costs.
You have to accept the high monthly outgoings, yeah. And you need to be okay with living in a busy commercialized spot, not a quiet residential street. That's the trade-off for extreme convenience.
Okay. And for the investor.
Strategy is everything. You absolutely must treat this as a rental yield investment, not a capital gains play. Forget hoping for big price jumps.
So negotiation is paramount.
Imperative. Given the slow sales, you need to bargain hard on that purchase price. Push for discounts. Your goal is to get the entry cost low enough that even after the high fees, the net yield is attractive enough to justify the leasehold risk. And those dual key units, they probably offer the best shot at maximizing that crucial rental income.
So wrapping it all up, Residensi 38 Bangsar really feels like a case study in urban compromise, doesn't it? You get ultimate convenience, but it comes with a serious price tag and, well, a ticking clock on the lease.
Yeah, if you connect it to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
In this specific spot, the hyperconnectivity is the undeniable asset. That's what pulls in the high-paying tenants. But the leasehold tenure, it just puts a fundamental cap on how much the property's value can realistically grow over the long term for the owner.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Think about that competitor, the establishment. It's freehold. It has that direct covered bridge to the LRT. So how much less should you realistically pay for a brand new unit at Residensi 38, knowing it has a much shorter lease and similarly high costs? Something to really consider when you're figuring out your offer price.